Hi, Yoli. We will wait for a couple more people to join, and then we can start. Hi, Agustin. We will give 1 more minute for people to join, and then we can start. If you want already, you can use the Q&A button to add any question you have directly on the chat. Hello, everyone. I think, yeah, we have given 3 minutes. I think we can start. I will start by introducing myself. Then I will give a brief introduction presentation about the product that we are aiming to build. And we will continue by a Q&A session. For this, you can either start adding your questions on the Q&A section. There should be a button at the top of your screen. And if not, we can wait, and I will allow opening the microphones after the presentation, if that's okay with you all. Okay. So, really quickly, my name is Oscar Montiel. I am a strategic tech lead at the World Benchmarking Alliance. And today we are here for a questions and answers session about our self-assessment tool that we expect will bring our methodologies into a broader audience than the 2,000 companies that we evaluate usually. So the way we see this is by building a tool that aims to catalyze change by assessing companies in their performance or practice against sustainability criteria based on our methodologies, identifying policy gaps in their policies, and go beyond reporting. This is done by doing 3 things. One, use our methodologies to build the same methodologies that we use for our keystone companies. Second, identify the needs of our clients, which is something that we've already done and we expect to keep doing. And finally, provide insights that will catalyze change. And the way we want to do this is by allowing them to set priorities, understand the indicators, and look at all the information that they disclose and find gaps in those policies that would help them support the achievement of the SDGs. Second, compare and understand. This means how are they performing against companies in their own country, in their sector, or in their industry, but also compare themselves to other companies that we do assess at WBA and look at the results of our benchmarks to do this. And finally, and this is not necessarily something that we will build during this first stage of development, give them access to sort of a marketplace of people who can help them improve. But as I said, this is something that is probably in the future. So right now, what we expect is to build an MVP with a set of indicators that we call the core social indicators, collect feedback on it, and with that create a user base and allow us to include new methodologies. We expect to, by the end of the development, have already built a user base by creating a pre-sign up. If you, this is not necessarily linked to the work that you would be doing in the development, but we expect that this will help us measure, how much of a stress test we need to do for the proper launch. So the sign up, as I've said, we have identified a potential user group, which are companies that are outside our usual scope, but want to improve in their sustainability efforts. And there are 3 others that have an overseer feature. That means they can invite a company to do an assessment and kind of see what they're how they are doing in their reporting. We expect to have this done in more or less by the end of October, so we can do a soft launch. As you can see here, the development is only a part of the product or of the whole development of Nuco. And what we expect out of this first development is, just an alpha beta version to be launched by February of next year. What we do expect for the first soft launch, we can call it, is an alpha version. Thank you very much. And I think for now, I will stop sharing my screen and I will allow you to use your microphones and please, to have some order on the question, you can use the raise button on your screen so I can call out your names and you can ask directly. Just so you know, this session is being recorded, so we can share with any other people that couldn't make it to this meeting. And it will be public as well, just as the RFP. So yes, Jose.
Hi, Oscar. Hi, everyone. Well, thank you for your introduction, Oscar. I just wanted to ask, the the point here is to make a portal where your clients can do a self-assessment, right? And after that, you bring data of the other, like comparison and data of the other self-assessments, for the company to take action in some things that might they might benefit from doing, right? If I am understanding that correctly, my question is, how do you configure, um, like the parameters to evaluate that self-assessment? Have you thought about that?
Yes, each methodology has its own scoring, its own scoring methods, we can say. They are pretty straightforward. It is either a policy exists or it doesn't exist. And
Okay.
with that, there is a very simple, arithmetic
Okay.
method to create a score. So we would
Oh.
provide all that, and the logic
Mhm.
would just need to be implemented.
Okay, that's great. Were you considering the ability to, uh, or would you want the ability to change that logic without having to without having to go into programming, like having a configurable platform where you can where you can represent that logic, and when it changes, you don't need to make development? Is that something that you want?
Um, that would be great.
Uh-huh.
We don't expect it to be, since this is a beta version and we will only include methodologies that don't require that much changing.
Uh-huh.
It would be great to have it, but we
Okay.
don't. That's why we didn't include it in the RFP. But if it's in the proposal, I mean, that would definitely be a nice to have.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Um, and yeah, for now, that's my questions. I might have one more, but I want to hear the rest. So thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. I think you're muted.
Hello.
Hi, Kandar.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Uh,
Olivia. I
okay.
think that we can't hear you. If you want, you can type your question and we will try to answer it right after Kandar's. That's okay with you?
Okay. So, uh, let me, like Oscar, I have a question
Yeah.
related to the differences for the permission and the functionality required for various user groups, such as companies, supply chains, investors, and consultants.
Yeah.
So, can you just throw some light on that?
Yes. So the idea is that a company is sort of an organization, it can
Mm-hmm.
have more than one user from the same company. And then um, the roles with overseeing capacity have permission to sort of invite to create a company or an organization, a new organization. In that sense, you have two levels, of permissions. One, a level of creation of company, horizontally, we can say, and a second with the capacity to invite multiple companies to do a self-assessment. Does that answer your question?
Okay. So there would be like one would be cross-functional team and one would be a team where the third-party people are coming for the let's say they are coming for assessment, right? So first are internal in the organization and other people are outside from the organization who are coming for the assessment for the questionnaires, right? So this is how you
Exactly.
are going to manage the roles and permissions. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. Um, also, I am not able to, get the user journey from, right from registration to the assessment completion for a normal user. Let's say if I'm registering into the portal, right? What would be the first step that would come and how would I go to the assessment part and for different users how would the assessment be done, right? Let's say I am a user now, I want to get my assessment done, so what would be the user journey for that?
Thank you. That's a very good question. So the way we are currently looking at that journey is once you log into or once you go to the landing page, you can directly access whether you have an account or not. You can look at what kind of assessment you can do. If you have an account, you can log in directly to your dashboard, we're calling it. And from there, you can pick which methodology you want to assess in this moment and pick the indicators that you want to assess. Once with that, you can, or you start actually going into the evaluation and you get a score out of those indicators. When you select the methodology, you can see, depending on the role you have, you should be able to see the level of completion of the methodology, because we know that not every company is going to be interested in doing all the evaluation of a methodology because they tend to be pretty long, and usually the teams that do this kinds of or would be interested in this kinds of assessments are rather small. So we want to give them an overview of how far along the full methodology they are, but also give them the freedom to prioritize the indicators that they assess.
Okay. So, if I understand correctly, the assessment would be based on the user role. Let's say if I'm an organization, I don't want to check all the criteria for the assessment. I want to view only a particular type of criteria for the assessment of a user, then I'll check that only, and that is divided for each user group, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so those things should be configurable from your end because we cannot put it in a static manner. Let's say if you want to give an access for certain set of questions for a particular set of users, so that should be configurable from your end only, because in future, if you want, you can change those configurations as well, right?
Yes, we should have the admin role should have permission to do that. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so let's say there would be some criteria for the self-assessment questions, right? So those would be configured from your end only, or you want to keep them static? Like for a question, if someone selects an answer A, and in answer A, there would be some criteria needs to be filled up. And once that is filled up, again, there would be some certain more criteria. So that would be static, or you want that configurable as well?
It would be ideal for it to be configurable, but again, since this is we want to keep it as simple as possible, unless it's the logic is easy to implement once the developer team knows all the indicators. We don't expect it to be available in this first stage.
Okay, so we are keeping static right now, but the criterias which would be there for the assessment that would be provided from your end before the development starts, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So here I have one more question that let's say if a user is giving his assessment entirely now, would there be someone who would be approving that or reviewing that assessment given is proper or not, or would that be user's responsibility to provide correct answers?
It is the user's responsibility to provide the correct answers, mainly because we don't have the capacity to evaluate everything that is submitted. And that is why we want to allow them to share their results publicly, because since we can't control it, it should be under their own responsibility that what they provide is true and accurate.
Okay. Yeah. So okay. So questions would be static, and that would be provided from your end. Okay. And the benchmarks in terms of user interaction, that would also be static. So there is no dynamic selection of criteria based on the selection, right? Okay, so are there any data visualization features in terms of like performance reports, or you want to see from admin panel point of view that let's say some of the reports, let's say some of the um, users who are filling up the forms, right? So they are taking how much time on each question or which question they are skipping. You want any such data visualization features from your point of view to understand the user journey, or to improve it in the future?
Yes, if we don't expect any graphic or specifically a type of visualization, but only to understand the basic use analytics, we can say, or the basic user journey and how each user is
Interacting with
performing
the
a task.
question.
Exactly.
Okay, so I have one more question. Like, you want to integrate with any existing system where this forms would already be been made, and we just need to import those data and show those questionnaires over here. So, it would be easy for you as an admin to not create one by one the forms and the evaluation forms, or create the question forms, and we can directly integrate and show that data, so it would create a less burden on you. Do you want to do that something? Are you planning to do that?
Probably. I think that would depend on the kind of approach that the developer team takes. We could provide an endpoint for that kind of data to be consumed directly from our data management. I mean, data management, it is an Airtable database. So we could provide an endpoint to do that for the questions and some of the information required. I think that we can discuss more specifically with the team how simple or complicated it would be for them to maintain, because as it is a third-party tool, APIs sometimes change, and we don't want to be dependent on that.
So Maybe we can do one thing. We can give you import to CSV module, right? So where there would be a certain you can have those questions in your API. You can convert them to CSV file, and that CSV file you can import over here. So based on that, what will happen is once you upload that in a random and a click event of the time, 100 to 200 questions would be uploaded, and that would create a more intuitive and more less burden on you in terms of adding new questions. Um, okay, so just one more concern I had, that these questions are related to each and every topic, right? Let's say there is a topic A and there is a questionnaire for that topic. There is a topic 2 and question assessment for topic 2, assessment topic 3, assessment topic 4. So that would be topic wise, right? Or that would be a general, all the questions would be under, all the assessment will be under the same topic.
No, each topic has its own set of questions or indicators, as we call them.
Okay. Okay, so
Yes.
topic would have subtopic, or that would be only a single topic where we can make that assessment.
The way it works is we have what we call a methodology,
Mm-hmm.
which has a set of indicators, and those
Mm-hmm.
indicators have elements inside
Mm-hmm.
that that's the most granular part of the methodology.
Okay. So I'm considering there would be a methodology inside, like where there would be a topic, then it would be subtopic, then it would be, I think subtopic is enough, right? Because if we go very deep down, like on the granular level, it would be more complex, or that is the requirement that you have.
We want to have it divided by elements, up to the element of each indicator, because we know that different companies may have different interests in certain elements, and some others might be focused, or might have priority of other elements
Mhm.
inside a same indicator. So yeah, I
Okay.
think it would be these three levels in
Okay.
the
Three
in the
levels.
methodology. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So we are considering three levels for now. That is fine. Yeah, and just to brief down the entire requirement, because everyone is over here, so
Yes.
I think that would create a good gesture for others as well, that they who have joined now, they will also get an overview of what we have discussed. Okay, so this is basically an assessment portal where there would be four types of roles, no, five types of roles. That would be firstly admin, that is yourself. Second
Yes.
would be companies, third would be supply chain, investors, and consultants. Now, companies, supply chain, investors, and consultants, these are the four types of role where few of the roles might be inside the organization and few might be outside or third party who are coming just for the assessment part, right? Now, once user has completed its registration, now he will go to the dashboard, and into the dashboard he will redirect it to the self-assessment, and into the assessment he'll select the topic. Then there would be like three levels of the topic selection. First would be his like the category, then subcategory, and then on the granular level, what type of assessment is needed. Each and every granular level has its own set of questions that would be asked, and that is basically defined by the admin, like what sort of questions would be there. Now, admin will create the questions manually, as well as he can import into the CSV file. Now, that CSV file we will define the format, right? What type of format it needs to be uploaded. Once that is uploaded, the questions are loaded into the user portal. Now, user will uh, and enter the entire types of questions where there would be some benchmarks, right? let's say if answer A is selected, then what would be the criteria that needs to be filled up? So those would be the static data in the current MVP phase. So that data needs to be provided from your end, right? And once the form has been submitted, the assessment is completed, then it would be reviewed by the stakeholders. Now, stakeholders can be companies, supply chains, investors, and consultants. So each and every stakeholder will have its own criteria. Well, they'll be able to see the assessment for what they are interested into, not all the part that is there into the entire form, right? So for each user group, the different view would be there for the assessment, right? And that would help them to take a decision on this, right? And yeah, from the admin point of view, there would be some performance report or some, let's say, some data visualization where there would be not graphical for point of view, the data would be there, but like statistical data would be there, which would let the admin know that, okay, if some forms are being built, how much time each form has been taken to fill up, um or some other types of statistical data would be displayed at that can be managed, like that can be based on different types of assessment forms, right? And uh, I think that is it, right? If I have missed anything.
That is it. I would only make the clarification that it doesn't necessarily have to be a CSV to
Yep.
import into the tool. We leave that to we want to remain as agnostic in the solution as possible, so that the proposals can be as creative as they want.
Okay.
With
Yeah.
that said, I think Olivia, you still have your
Yes.
hand up. Are you there?
I think she posted the question on the Q&A section.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So, Jose, go ahead, and we can then go into Olivia's in case we don't cover hers in when you ask your question, we can see if we also cover Olivia's.
Okay. No, just wanted to ask about what is the people that we have available to work with the software provider from your side. I assume it's going to be yourself and a couple more people,
Yes, for now it's going to be, well, I'm going to be during the whole process. The communications team will be engaged as well at some point. Some other colleagues from the digitization team, we call it the data and tech team of WBA. And at some point, it's likely that people with topical expertise may come in for testing, etc. But otherwise, the main point of contact will be myself.
Okay. Thank you very much. And another question that is more administrative. From what I saw on the RFP, all costs of implementation and everything should be added on the proposal. And we are obviously going to post maintenance cost of whatever we are going to put in place. But after that, there was a mention of long term. I think that will be dealt with once we are on the middle of the development process, right, or something like that.
Yes, for further maintenance, we would probably need a second, contract for
Great.
for the tool.
Okay, that's great. And just another quick thing. Sorry. The other thing was there is a time frame on the tender process that you send them timeline, right?
Mhm.
With the project kickoff, it's about 2 weeks, right? 15 days. By kickoff, you mean, right? Just going back and forth with you and reassessing the process and making sure everything is completely in the same page, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify that because kickoff depends on where you say it, you know. Um,
Yes.
okay. Well, for me, that's everything. I think it was really clear. Really like it that you guys have opened the game for everyone to propose what they think it's best. It's good. So, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jose. And Olivia, expected monthly traffic. We have done some estimations, and this is actually kind of hard to answer directly because we currently work, or we currently assess 2,000 companies. Many of them have long supply chains. So they're, even if a fraction of those begin using the tool, we could expect a few hundreds of users, closer to thousands of users. The second point is there are currently European laws coming into place, or that will touch many of these companies in the near future. So the early estimations, this is definitely very, very early, and this might only happen until 2026, was that 40,000 companies would need to start doing this kind of process for to comply with the regulation. So that's why we want to start doing a pre-sign up, so that we know exactly how many people would be, or know a more clear number of users by October, and so that we can know how much we need to grow or increase the size of databases, all of that, for to welcome the users. The use of API access, do you mean for ourselves, or to provide access to other, to the users themselves? And then for the admin interface, if that is proposed, that would be a nice to have. We don't expect to have a specific admin interface, as long as we can edit the, depending on what you propose, as long as it's something that we can edit, whether via a JSON file, whether a YAML file, whatever it is that you decide to use as part of the backend. We, as I said, we remain pretty open to that. Then for UX and user testing, we will do some testing with actual companies that have engaged in previous moments of the development of this tool. They don't necessarily have knowledge of the assessment itself, so that's why they are pretty adequate, but they know the needs of their companies or the companies they work with. So we expect to do that before the soft launch in October, but we don't expect it to be a super heavy load of users, or a very engaging, or a moment where you need to engage very heavily with the users. As for the branding, that is a second request for proposals that we will work on soon. We don't expect the branding to be very far from the WBA image, but that will depend on the proposal that we get. And okay, yeah, the question about hosting. Yes, that's why we want to have those numbers more specifically. In terms of like server capacity, we wouldn't expect many calls. When you launch, you have a bunch of users. We wouldn't expect more than 500 like users in the first round of during the alpha version. So that's about 500 sessions. I don't expect it to be at the same time either. So I don't think it would put any server under a lot of stress. Again, this is something that we are only assuming, and we expect to have more specific information by July when we start the pre-sign up. And this is something that information that we will share with the development team as soon as we have it, or as we get new information. And Jose, I see you have your hand up again.
Yeah, sorry, just one last question.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to know about the do you use Microsoft Office 365 as a company? I am assuming yes, because you have Teams, right?
Yes.
Okay. That it's only that because we can work on integrating the platform with your same Office credentials, so you can manage inside your organizations what the permissions you're going to give your internal users in the platform. So that would be, it's easier, and that way we provide the security standards for the Microsoft offers. We already work like that with many clients, so just wanted to validate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Please raise your hands so we can give room to everyone in case they have questions. I think Olivia still has her hand up, but I think Harshal, go ahead.
Hi. So just wanted to check one thing. You have mentioned that budget is 105K, but you have mentioned this is an MVP you are looking at to begin with. So this is for whole project or just an MVP?
This is for the MVP, or like for everything that we have listed in this RFP. Any future development will be a different contract.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good to me. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, if there are no more questions for the moment, I only have to thank you all for your time and your interest in participating in this request for proposals. If any further clarifications are required during the next few days, feel free to reach out. You have my email. We will share this, the recording of this call, in case there are any, in case you want to go back to any reference that we discussed during this call. And yeah, I wish you all a good rest of the day, evening, and hoping to hear back from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Oscar. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Oscar.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Bye.
Oscar.
Thank
Bye.
you.